Hello and welcome back to one of our mini training sessions on Workbooks CRM aimed at existing Workbooks users or indeed anyone seriously looking at Workbooks as a new CRM system. And in this session, we're going to cover custom fields in Workbooks. A bit of a follow-on from our last session, which was custom records, in that you want to be able to tailor your CRM to the way you work and the information you need to track. All the types of records we have in Workbooks can be enhanced, if you like, by you. They're very easy, by you adding your own custom fields. And in this session, we're going to cover our top 10 based on our experience of completing many Workbooks implementations over the years. Well, there's actually over 20, but we're going to focus on what we found to be the most popular. We'll explain examples of those just so that you know what type of information they're suited for. And then we'll go through a brief example, not really in-depth training, but a brief example of how you would set up your own custom field. So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot. I'm joined by my colleague Stuart Lawrenson-Hind and our company Wizard Systems. We're a leading independent CRM solutions provider of systems like Workbooks, and we help out organizations use simple and affordable solutions to help improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So thanks those of you joining us live for this mini training session, a series of regular presentations focusing on different topics in and around Workbooks. And I'm saying this one, we're going to cover custom fields. Now, the audio part of this call is one way only. Your microphone is on mute. If you've got any questions about what we're talking about, please pop those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and Stuart and I will do our best to answer those towards the end. All right, well, let's get into it then. I'm just going to pass over to my colleague, Stuart.
Now, as Tim mentioned, there are at present 24 different custom fields that you can add to your Workbooks environment. I'm going to use the people record for this demonstration, but you'll see the custom fields option on all the record types in Workbooks. So let's take a look. I've opened a record here. This is Mr. Gene Kelly. Yeah, you can see he works for MGM and most of the standard fields are here. However, we've added a few extra fields to get a better understanding of this person. We've got hair color, and we can see that this is what they call a pick list. If I scroll down, I can see two boxes here for LinkedIn and Twitter. These are referred to as DLIs. We'll come back to all of this, of course. We'll scroll a little further down again. I've got a more options section here. I've got things like website on a person record rather than an organization, marketing campaigns on a person, Salesforce source leads, and your preferred language. And these are all custom fields. We have a URL field, a pick list that I can type into. So if the option isn't there, I can just freehand type into the box. And the same with the language. Now the interest field, this is like a multi-selected here, as it's Mr. Gene Kelly. I'm going to suggest that you might like films and dance. And you can see now I have three options. So where most fields you just get one, here I can add more. So that's a record of the few custom fields, and it shows data that you might not capture if the fields didn't exist. So how are these added? All right, it's into the customization we go. We're going to our record types. I was using people, but as I mentioned, this is available everywhere throughout Workbooks. And you'll see that there are, at present, in this particular system, 100 fields available just on the people record. Now, obviously, not all of them are in use. That's where the form layouts come in. And as we scroll through, you'll see the various data types for each field in here. Text, currency, date and time, check boxes, rich text, reports, dynamic link, and so on. Now, before adding a new field, it's worth checking here to see if the field exists that can do the job you're after. It could be that someone's already added the field but hasn't turned it on. So how do you add a new field to this list? It's easy. We just click on the new field. And this is where the 24 are available. Now, as Tim mentioned at the start, we're going to go through some of the more popular ones, and I'll just open a few up so that you can see them. One of the most popular fields you can add is a text field, exactly as you see here. And all the system asks you to do is give the field a new label, a description, so if someone hovers over it, or tell them all about it, where you want the field to appear. Do you want any default text to appear in the box? So when they open it, it gives them a clue. And then various things like to show in grid, and is it going to be a required field, or perhaps isn't going to be a read only? If you're going to put some information in there, you're not going to be able to change it. That's a text box. There are some limitations. For instance, the maximum field you can type into here is 255 characters. Now, hopefully that's a big enough text box or text field for most people. One of the other ones that we mentioned was a pick list. Now, you'll notice that these start to look familiar. Again, we're asking for a label, a description, but the bit here changes now. It's asking us what pick list, what selection of values do we want to make available to the end user. If you've already created a pick list, it's available in the drop down. If you haven't created it, rather helpfully, they give you a little plus sign here, so you can go and create a new pick list. And one of my examples earlier was the hair color. So you could make a new pick list to suit your various needs. And again, you just make it available when you're ready. And as I said, there are lots in here. Some others we mentioned. Checkbox, really simple on a record. It is just a tick box, just giving you show whether a parameter has been set or not set. We have now we call this in the system, they call it an integer number because they've broken up the various number fields you can have, things like decimal number, currency. So integer number is just a number field. Date, they've split out date and time. If I show you the date field here, again, it's just date, but there's a clever little trick here where you can set a range. So, for instance, as they say, things like blocking out a period on a calendar, you can set the from date and the to date. So they're not looking, you're not going to see a calendar going right back in history to the end of time. That should make selecting a value much easier. One of the ones we looked at in the person's record, this gentleman here, we saw these two fields, these two boxes, and this is, oh, lost my screen. This is the iframe. It's slightly different in that its job, it's one of the clever fields. This can show information held somewhere else, a website, a map, a credit rating. What the setup is asking you to do is tell the system where this other information is held, and then it can be displayed within the system. Okay, so that's an iframe. Another clever field here is a dynamics linked item. So this is one of the more advanced fields, and this type of field can display the value from a report. So it could be, again, I'll use credit rating, good, bad, and then one field it would just return that. And one of the clever tricks with this field is at the very bottom, you set up an item called a constraint. So whenever you go to a particular person's record, it only returns the information for that record you're on. So it's looking for things like where a company ID or a person's ID matches the value on the report. So you only have to build one report, but use the results on every single record. Okay, so that's dynamic linked item. I mentioned dynamic linked item there. You can take it one step further with the report field, and this can show data from a report rather than just one value. So if you want to build on a simple field, like mentioned, like a dynamic linked item, you could look to using a report. One of the other most popular fields here is URL. It's exactly what it is, but it's possibly one of the few fields that you'll add to a record, but you won't fill in. What you're going to do is you're going to put the empty URL field on a record and then allow the user to fill it in as and when they come to it. And that's really it. It's a nice and easy guide on the various custom fields that you can add to your Workbooks CRM. And with that, it's back to Tim.
Thanks very much, Stuart. So as you can see, really easy. Remember, the key to effective customization of your CRM system is to think carefully about what data is truly valuable to you and your business processes. And if you're starting out, start with the essential custom fields, and you can gradually expand as you identify new data points that could help your business going forwards. And be realistic. Think about your users. As you can see, it's so easy to create these new fields. You might have noticed that pretty much when we're creating a new field, the only required bit of information is the field label, what we call it. Of course, there are lots of other options, but it's so easy to add them in. And you got to think about it. As I say, be realistic. And if the information that you are thinking about that you may want to put in CRM doesn't directly help your users, or help you sell, help you market, help you service your customers, then it's probably not worth putting in there. Right. So while you're thinking of any questions you'd like to ask us, just a bit more information about Wiz Assistant. I know most of you on the call here live are very familiar with us, but we are long-standing providers of different CRM solutions, including workbooks. As regards workbooks, we provide the complete service around the system, provisioning the product for you, customizing it to your requirements, the full implementation, full training, your place, our place online, and help desk support, ongoing help desk support as well. All right, then I think we've got a few questions coming in. Question from Luke: can you search for data in custom fields?
Yes, you can. Right. However, it's not all custom fields. When you go to add a field, if you scroll to the very bottom, you should see the option to include it in a search. I know that text, pick list, and email address can be searched, but I'm not sure about all the others. So it's worth checking when you add your custom field. If you want it to be included in a search, scroll to the bottom, and you should see the option include in search.
Okay, Penny, what are some creative ways to use formula fields to automate calculations and improve data accuracy across our CRM records?
It sounds like that's where a report field would come in. We've got various examples of this, for instance, where a color is displayed where certain criteria is met as to whether a record is live or dead, green or green, amber, or red, and it's just based on the criteria. If it hits a number between 1 and 3, it's red. 4 to 7, it's amber. 8 to 10, it's green. It's just criteria within a report field, and then the field is told to show the results of that with a nice bit of formatting on it.
Okay. Thank you, Penny. Caroline, is asking, what view are you on? Your screen looks different to mine. Is there an updated view?
All right. Yes, I'm using the very latest theme, which is going to be the default theme from Workbooks. And our training system has been laid out in card view, splitting the screen up into various sections. Easy enough to do. We can show you all this, and it's down. Once you've got the new theme running, it's down to your layouts. So as well as having the fields, it's your form layouts that determine how the record looks when you open it.
So Caroline's basically got it, but it's just a case of selecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hakeem, any best practices around multiple lookup fields on a record? Shall I answer that one, Stuart?
Okay. Yeah.
I guess the main thing would be, again, thinking about your users. And there's no limit to the number of drop-down entries, pick list entries, but just think about your users. And, you don't want too many there to confuse your users. You can obviously dictate the sequence of those fields. But yeah, just again, think about your users, and maybe if you're an administrator, consult your users as regards ease of use and so on. But Workbooks is very scalable, no kind of limit there. Right, I don't think there's any more questions. All right, well, let us just wrap things up then. So current release that we're on is 7.3. Do you want a CRM review there? We normally do these on an annual basis with our customers, but if you want us, with all of our experience of many years of CRM implementations, if you want us to review the way that you use CRM, then please contact us. We'd be happy to get on an online meeting with you and go through your system and come up with some recommendations for better use. Future sessions, do you have any ideas for future topics that you would like us to cover that you think would be of interest to other Workbooks users or the community at large? Please contact us. We'd love to hear from you. So those of you on here live, thanks very much for watching us. Hopefully that was of interest to you, and we'll catch up with you hopefully next week, hopefully on Wednesday for another Workbooks event. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.